Hillary Clinton insists she didn't put America's security in jeopardy with her use of a private email server as Secretary of State. She was questioned about the investigation again this week.
Have you been contacted, or your representatives been contacted by the FBI to set up an interview?
No.
No contact there?
No.
Any indication that your private server was hacked by foreign hackers?
No, not at all.
Not at all?
Terrible.
Not quite, at least according to a Romanian hacker who goes by the name Guccifer. He says he easily and repeatedly broke into the Secretary's server in early 2013. In an exclusive interview, Fox's own chief intelligence correspondent, Catherine Herridge, spoke with him on the phone from a Virginia jail where he's awaiting trial for cybercrimes.
Was the Clinton server easy or hard?
No, for me, what is it? For me, for everybody.
Mrs. Clinton's team says they put security on this server. Is that what you found?
No, you know, when somebody tells that, we put security on the servers, okay, you had that server like up for 5 years, okay? Are you sure that in those 5 years you had security second by second?
And how many times did you access the Clinton server, Marcel?
I say like twice, because for me it was not at interest at the time. I was not paying attention. For me, it was not like the Hillary Clinton server. It was like an email server she and others were using with political boring stuff.
If her server was breached, Judge Napolitano thinks that she will be indicted.
She really needs to stop being in a state of denial because her legal situation is perilous.
Judge, if they found hacking, if they could demonstrate hacking, would that make it harder for them not to charge her if
Yes,
they were leaning that way?
Would make it nearly impossible for them not to charge her.
In a statement, the Clinton campaign denies the hackers' claims, calling them baseless, and no government agency has notified them about Clinton's server being compromised. So more intrigue on this. Kimberly, can you explain further what Judge Napolitano is saying, that this is extremely serious and he thinks that it has to go to the next step?
It is, and if it's true, and in fact he was able to breach her server and be able to get access to confidential communications that would violate national security and put people at risk, I think this is significant. It really establishes a prima facie case against her. So this is the type of information that exactly the Justice Department, the FBI should be looking at. It really establishes, because it meant you don't have to prove that she had the specific intent or to willfully violate or be reckless, with it. You're just not supposed to do what she did. This is evidence that it was breached. And as we sit here right now, do we really know exactly what information that he was able to get access to? Who knows? And this is all during that time as well, during Benghazi, during Chris Stevens, when you're privy to all of that confidential communication, access, location, timetables, scheduling, anything in terms of travel and what different diplomats around the world are doing and where they're stationed, their movement.
Can I ask you one more thing, which is because he's on awaiting trial for something else, so he is considered a criminal. How much credence or credibility do you think he has as a witness?
Well, look, I mean, if he was to come forward, you can have a credibility or believability of the witnesses, but guess what? The proof is in the pudding. If he actually provides or proffers evidence to show in some kind of deal the access that he had and the information he was able, because these were multiple entries that he was able to gain access to, and including Sidney Blumenthal as well, which we know was one of the main reason that this became exposed, that she was going back and forth and consulting him on these high-level matters to get, quote, advice, although she says she didn't take it from him as a directive, but perhaps was using it in sort of the framework of her decision-making.
I've got to say, Eric, that as a communications person, every time I see her answering some of these questions, I feel like she's on a high wire without a net. And I wonder if you think that, if all of this stuff is going to end up actually hurting her, will she get off scot-free?
The problem is it's taking so long. I mean, this is going to draw well beyond November, where we'll either have a vice president or a President Hillary Clinton, or we won't. If we do, then she may be indicted after she's president. That'd be just crazy town.
Makes sense.
That'd be terrible.
The most important thing here, though, is and I'm not sure that we haven't talked about this quite a few times before, that intent isn't even a factor here. She doesn't even have to intend to be negligent. If she's just negligent and leaks top secret information, she's likely criminally liable. Right. So she should go to
like anybody that has a top secret claim.
If not, go to jail for doing right. It's again, here's the old example. If you have a top secret document in this folder, go to the bar, have a drink with someone, leave the folder on the bar, accidentally walk out, and that leaks, you're criminally negligent, and you will go to jail for something like that. That's basically what she did. She left the top secret information on a server that was getting hacked repeatedly by Guccifer. And by the way, you're right. He's up for trial. We may have only 10% of what he actually did, so he doesn't want to get in any more trouble. But by doing so, she basically left the folder on the bar of Del Frisco's over there, and who knows what they have.
But don't think he won't try and work out a deal. And usually these hackers, they have a file that's like a get-out-of-jail-free file that has so much information in it that you're like, okay, let's talk.
What do you think, Juan? Where there's smoke, there's fire?
I love this conspiracy theory. I'm sitting here thinking, wow, this is great. I'm going to write a novel. This is unbelievable. First of all, this guy, totally lacking in credibility. By the way, he said he hacked them 2 times in 5 years because it really wasn't of interest.
He said it was boring.
That's what he said. So all of a sudden, you guys are sitting here saying, oh, yeah, I bet they were in there and they got information about Benghazi, another conservative.
But we know that they had.
Oh, yeah, gee. And he also says he hacked Colin Powell. Get Colin Powell in the jail cell with her. You know, and then, of course, Fox, not only Fox, but the Clinton campaign says, we don't believe that. We have no way to verify this guy. We have no evidence that he actually did it. He goes by the name, Greg is going to explode on this. He goes by the name Guccifer. What is this? Is he Lucifer? Is he the devil?
I don't know.
And this is what we sit here discussing?
Are you going to blow a gasket over his name?
No, not at all. I find this whole thing refreshing. You know, usually it's Bill breaching a server. You know, what's amazing is that this guy repeatedly unlawful gaining entry. You know, this guy is known as a hacktivist. Okay, that's one step above being a juggler at a children's birthday party.
Thank you.
He is not a pro. He's an amateur. He's like Geraldo on Dancing with the Stars, and he hacked Hillary. This is almost, he's a hero because he showed how easy it is to make national security emails vulnerable. But we have to define what hacking is because we think it's some kind of nefarious, mysterious thing. He's basically searching passwords that based on your background. He figures out your security questions. Hillary's password was probably, you know, Bill Cigar 100. He took him like 50 guesses. He got in, and it's a lesson for everybody, including myself. That you got to be changing your passwords. It's not as hard as you think. And I mean, the Democratic Party, do they have a backup here? Have they talked to Biden about this? You know, every NFL team has a backup quarterback in case somebody gets injured. Even if it's Johnny Manziel, bring somebody in because they are going to be, if something happens, there may be, like, nobody thought Trump was going to be the nominee except for Eric, but nobody's saying that she's going to get indicted. It's the same odds.
No, but there's other information.
It could happen.
There's other information that's coming to light from sources saying that, in fact, this could be happening, and that's another reason why Bernie Sanders is staying in. But when Guccifer did this thing, there were 10 other unique IP addresses, people that had access to the server. Who are those people? I mean, this was like loosey-goosey. Anybody was in.
Lucy-Guccifer.
Can I introduce just a little bit touch of reality? I know I don't want to disrupt this, but it's actually trouble for Hillary Clinton because you have a federal judge now saying that her aides and State Department officials must testify, go along with the inquiry by Judicial Watch. That's real. Yeah. Now, that's real. They're going to have to testify, and I think people like Huma Abedin have already been interviewed by the FBI in their separate inquiry. So
don't forget about the staffer who got immunity.
Yeah, that was the email, the internet server guy, right?
You know what happens when you do this, when you open this up, the investigation wider to staffers and emails of staffers? You find more stuff. You find stuff that may not have anything to do with the State Department, other than unless they were using the State Department, Hillary Clinton, to somehow ingratiate the Clinton Foundation with funds from foreign governments or foreign companies.
Pinning the tail on the donkey. That's what happens.
That's what you do. You start an investigation. Sometimes it leads you down a different rabbit hole, and you find something that really matters. And I think that's where the meat is, not with the State Department, but with Clinton Foundation.
Oh, you mean, so it's not with this guy who has no credibility, and it's not with...
It may or may not be, correct.
It's not even the email, but it's the foundation.
It may or may not be.
Well, you know, but I'm just saying, at this point, it's like, you know what? The Republican Party is so worried about Hillary Clinton, they're just praying for rain, They're just praying that something happens. Can something...
No, actually, I want her to stay in.
It's been pouring rain is what it's been, Juan. She's hoping the rain stops. Yeah, between the server, the accusations with the Clinton Foundation, all the things that are going on in her world, that these scandal after scandal, she just wants it all to go away, as you do.
That's why I do. I would like people to just look at reality. The woman's gotten more votes than even Donald Trump.
Juan, the great thing is if she stays in and this email thing gets worse. The terrible thing is if she gets out and they bring Biden in, who would win in a landslide. By the way,
but why wouldn't they go for Bernie?
Because Bernie's a socialist. Come on.
I mean,
we would still have to live. You borrow Juan's terms. We need to live in the real world here. You're not going to elect a socialist. But neither side of this of the political spectrum has addressed the hazards of this actual story, or anything that's in the realm of modern technology, whether it is vulnerable email or artificial intelligence or automation or robotics, and how this is going to affect our lives going forward. Nobody has. And it's about time one of these candidates actually starts discussing the realities. For example, it's not going to be Mexico or China stealing our jobs. It's going to be automation. We have to look at the hazards of artificial intelligence in the next 20 or 30 years. That's going to change the world. We have to talk about the fact that terror is being married to technology, that people can go and buy drones and they could put any kind of chemical or biological weapon on it. We need to have somebody talking about that other than crackpots like me.
Can I ask one more question?
Was the most
Does it not bother you
said.
even the slightest amount that Hillary Clinton claimed there were no top secret emails on that server, and we found 22 of the highest level of classification,
we've been
and
over
hundreds
this.
but still classified. So she's clearly lied about that fact.
No,
that doesn't bother you.
First of all, it would bother me, anybody lying about anything, but what she said was that this was classified as secret or top secret.
But she's smart enough to know that information will be classified.
But that's the argument. I mean, go ahead, Dana.
I think that's a real dodge.
There you go. But Dana, you know
it's classified upon the email, upon the moment that you type it in or that you forward it on, and it also was against President Obama's executive order.
That's true.
Which, again, she put him in a terrible position.
Yeah.